Hey, what's going on, horror community? With the recent release of The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, I thought it would only be right to rank the Conjuring universe movies. And I also want to mention that I've been listening to a lot of Conjuring movie rankings on YouTube, and it kind of made me sick to my stomach. But y'all know me, I always make stuff so pivotal. And I don't know if it's me, but one thing I've noticed since my time on YouTube is that most content creators, specifically the horror content creators, they are a bunch of followers. Most people agree with the bigger YouTubers because, I don't know, it seems like they try to fit in. But me, I always keep it real no matter what. But that comes to say that most of these Conjuring Universe movie rankings on YouTube have the worst Conjuring movies ranked high. And it just kind of pissed me off. But I definitely will rant about that later on. Now, with my ranking, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Something you probably never seen on YouTube with these Conjuring Universe rankings, but it's just how I feel about most of these movies. Okay, so I have 3 movies coming in at number 8. Yes, you heard that right. I just feel like these 3 movies wasn't even worth ranking in number 6 or 7th. That's just how I feel. They were so bad, so I just feel like I'm going to just rank all 3 movies at number 8. So I ranked all these movies dead last, and all of these movies are equally the worst of the franchise. And that's The Curse of La Larona, The Nun, and Annabelle Comes Home. Let's first talk about The Curse of La Larona. Now, this movie felt like a script thrown together in 25 minutes or so. All they did was take the urban legend and threw something together. And just another haunted house. Like, I don't know, it felt like a theme park. Everywhere you turn, boo, ah. It seems like the ghosts will pop out and, you know, just scare you, and that's it. I mean, it'll just scare you and go away. That's the only thing about these Conjuring Universe movies. It just seems like the demon or the devil or whatever just shows itself, screams in your face, and go away. And that's it. And this movie did that repeatedly. And I didn't see this movie in the theaters because I knew it would be crap. And I was right. It flopped in the box office by Conjuring Universe standards. And I think at this point, these movies are becoming more for the teenagers. And that's another reason why I didn't go to the movie theater to see this when it came out. I just waited to rent this on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. But when I did go to rent this movie, I went to the video store and I rented The Curse of La Larona, but it was the 2007 version. So they gave me the wrong movie at Family Video. I went home and watched it. I was excited to watch it, and I popped the movie in, and I'm like, what the world is this? The movie looked like it, I don't know, the movie looked like it was shot on a flip phone. That's how bad it was. And I was like, I can't watch this. This is just too bootleg. And by the way, salute to everyone who's still renting movies. I know Family Video in my town went out of business. And really around the Southeast, Family Video is going out of business. But, you know, I miss going to the movies and, you know, just looking around, smelling the popcorn, and just picking out movies. And it's unfortunate that I can't experience that no more. So, you know, shout out to everybody who used to go rent movies and not support these streaming services and digital downloads and stuff, because ultimately the ones who supported that streaming service and digital stuff, y'all are the reason that Family Video, Blockbuster, and everyone just went out of business. And you know, screw y'all. Nah, but I'm just joking though. But yeah, leave a like down below if you missed these movie stores. Anyway, back to The Curse of La Larona. If I had to give some positives about this movie, it had very dark imagery, some creepy scenes, and some elements. The design of the evil entity in that white dress, it was kind of cool. And I don't know about y'all, but when I see a ghost in a white dress, it always freaks me out. Especially that opening scene. That was probably the best part about the whole entire movie, in my opinion. But overall, that's how I feel about The Curse of La Larona. And the next movie tied for number 8 is The Nun. Now, this movie had a lot of potential to be one of the most scariest, influential horror movies of this generation. And they completely dropped the ball. And we first got our glimpse at the nun, or Valak, in The Conjuring 2. And to be honest, that was the most scariest scene about The Conjuring 2. And Valak is definitely one scary looking horror villain, and probably the most scariest looking horror villain of all time. So when it was announced that The Nun would have its own spin-off show, I was like, yo, this movie might earn so much money and break barriers in the horror genre. Well, let's just say I was wrong. Not about the money part, but about being a good movie and that could take horror to the next level. And a lot of people are just torn between this movie. I don't know, some people thought it was good, others thought it was the worst horror movie ever. But my honest thoughts about this movie is that the movie had some very cool, like legit cool scenes and jump scares. And I hate jump scares in horror movies, but The Nun executed it just right. And the movie was also creative with some of the creepy elements. But at the same time, it felt like I was watching a Disney movie, a Disney horror movie. Like at certain times, it's all this green grass everywhere and all these crosses and graves and stuff. Like, I don't know, they overdid it with all the crosses and stuff. And the big castle, it looked so fake and CGI. I don't know, it just gave me Disney movie vibes. I don't know if I'm the only one who felt that way, but I don't know, it just looked fake. And the plot faded away from me probably like 30 minutes into the movie. I just got uninterested. But I did have a great theater experience. The theater was on swole, like every seat was sold out. But overall, The Nun was a complete flop and definitely wasted potential. And lastly, tied for the 8th spot with The Curse of La Larona and The Nun is none other than Annabelle Comes Home. You want to talk about a movie with zero substance, no plot, no meaning, and just stupid? I mean, this is the movie to talk about then. A complete filler movie with bad acting, worthless demons, and stupid scenarios. This movie is based on teenagers and the daughter of Ed and Lorraine Warren in a house at night, and the demons from the museum escape. And I want to mention this. If Lorraine Warren is such a clairvoyant, then how come she don't know what's going on in her house? She can't sense none of the demons or nothing like that in your own home, and you're a clairvoyant? How come? I don't know, that just seems like a complete plot hole or whatever. But Annabelle Comes Home, I don't know, I just hated this movie. It's long, drawn out, meaningless scenes throughout the whole entire movie, like the stupid ferryman thing with the coins on the eyes. That was the most stupidest thing I ever heard of, and it wasn't scary at all. I don't know, man. Annabelle Comes Home is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Horror movies, to be exact. And I will never ever watch this movie ever again. At least The Nun and The Curse of La Larona had a plot and a story. So with that being said, all three of these movies are ranked at number 8. Okay, so now, coming in at number 5. Yes, number 5, because we skipped 7 and 6. Is Annabelle Creation. This movie has always been overrated to me. People on YouTube always say this is one of the better Conjuring movies, but all I see in this movie is cheap scare tactics for gullible horror fans. For instance, they have kids in this horror movie, and when you have kids in horror movie, it heightens the sensitivity, and then they add a girl with polio to up the stakes. And I just feel like that's a cheap scare tactics to boost the, I don't know, the intensity. And I really didn't like that. I honestly don't see what people like about this film. It's an awful rushed backstory. I mean, you could have did anything to better this backstory for Annabelle. And I feel like they dropped the ball on this. I don't know, I just feel like it was wasted potential, just like The Nun. Nothing much to say other than that, really. I mean, you know, the movie, it is what it is. And, you know, it's not the worst movie, but it's not great like other people try to say it is. And I never understood why people like this movie. But coming in at number 4 is The Conjuring 3. Now, the more I watch this movie, the more I like it. I do think that they could have toned down the movie just a little bit. I felt like they had a lot of over dramatic stuff happen, but I love the overall story, and it was more than one story in this movie. I mean, it felt like a documentary and at the same time like a Netflix series, and I guess that's why I love it. But I did a complete review on this, so if you want to check that out, you can. But yeah, I'm not going to say too much about this. And yeah, The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, is ranked at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is The Conjuring 2, another overrated movie, and most people on YouTube try to say that this is one of the best Conjuring movies. And it doesn't really scare me, but at the same time, it does have a couple of scary moments. One in particular is one of my favorite moments throughout the whole entire franchise of The Conjuring, is the nun. We first get to see the nun in The Conjuring 2, and I thought that was the most scariest scene in that movie. But I don't know, it had some stupid moments and just some stupid plots. Like the whole Bill Wilkins crap was so stupid and a waste of time. And I also want to talk about the color grade of the movie. I don't know, I don't like movies like this. It just felt too dark. Like those movies like The Sinister, what's that movie called? The Insidious. Like, I can't watch movies like that because it's so dark. You can't even see what's going on. I hate that blue filler. I don't know what it is, but I just hate those dark movies. I want to be able to see what's going on. And this movie is just boring. And I just felt like it was too long. It's almost like 2 hours. And I actually fell asleep in the movie theater watching this. But overall, it's an okay movie. Now, it's time to talk about the modern day classics. Yes, that's right. Let's talk about some classic horror movies. Coming in at number 2 is Annabelle 2014. And it seems like everyone, and I mean every single body on YouTube, hates this movie. And I'm a supporter of this movie. This Annabelle movie is the modern version of movies like Rosemary Baby, slow burns like The Exorcist. I mean, other horror movies in the 70s and 80s. This movie is good, it's genius, it's well paced, and a lot of people say it's slow, but I don't know, I feel like it's a slow burn and it gives you everything that you want in a horror movie. And it pisses me off when these new age horror fanboys talk down about this movie. Like, most people who have Annabelle ranked last or near the last spot in their rankings tend to have The Nun or The Curse of La Larona or Annabelle Comes Home ranked extremely high. So that should tell you what kind of horror movies these people like. And they probably love Halloween 2018 too. But anyway, Annabelle 2014 had the intensity and the tension, and it balanced out very well. And the addition of having a pregnant woman go through all those paranormal experiences is just heart-throbbing, and it kept you on the edge of your seat. And when the baby was actually born in the movie, we get the scene where the books are flying off the shelf and then the bookcase just falls down. I mean, that was crazy. Talk about intensity. And then we can talk about the garage scene and the elevator. I mean, that was some creepy stuff. And Annabelle, I just love this movie. It just reminds me of one of those old school 1970 horror films. And people need to appreciate this movie. And if you don't like Annabelle, just take a second or a day or two to watch this movie and really dissect it. I mean, you will probably like it. And this is one of the movies where, you know, I was watching it at home and I got the same experience in the theater, like as far as like jump scares and everything else, as the same as when I watched it at home. And that's something that movies really don't have anymore. And like I said, I appreciate this movie. And it's probably in my top 5 favorite horror movies of all time, if not top 10 probably. But yeah, man, I really like this movie. And coming in at number 1, everyone should know by now, The Conjuring. Now this movie is definitely in my top 5. I mean, this movie, it checks off every single thing that a horror movie is supposed to have. And like I said, it's definitely a modern day classic, and everyone should appreciate this movie. And I kicked myself in the butt because I didn't go to the movie theater to see it, and I just hate that I missed it, man. And like I said, everyone, I believe, appreciate this movie, and probably everyone has this movie in probably the top 1, top 2 in their rankings. So everyone, let me know down below, what are your Conjuring movie rankings? And how do you feel about Annabelle 2014? And, you know, like I said, this is my ranking, but at the same time, you can't put Annabelle 2014 at the bottom of your list and have The Nun and The Curse of La Larona and Annabelle Comes Home in the middle of your rankings. I mean, that doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, guys, let me know your rankings down below, and if you like this video, please leave a like and share it. And yeah, I want to see your rankings down below. As always, be safe. Peace.